You know, friendly food folk often stop me in the street and ask me what my favorite steak is for grilling. They're often shocked, surprised by my reply, for it's not the ribeye nor the strip. It's not the tenderloin or the flank. It is not the sirloin or the chuck. It is the skirt steak, which is part of the diaphragm. That means that it is technically part of the plate subprimal, and it works nonstop. Well, at least until the cow stops. And because of that, they can be relatively tough and must be treated, well, specially. Here's how I do it. All right, now I've got 1.5 pounds of skirt steak here, and just got these out of the refrigerator. I'm gonna let them sit at room temperature for 60 minutes before introducing them to the heat. That's right, 60 minutes in the bacterial danger zone. Could you hold this thing? But you know what? I'm not worried about bacteria at the surface of the meat for two reasons. For one thing, we're gonna sear these steaks with temperatures well in excess of 1,000 degrees, and we're going to brine them. Not, however, in a liquid. We're just gonna sprinkle liberally with kosher salt and then wait that 60 minutes. Moisture will be pulled to the surface and will dissolve the salt. And of course, the sum of that is that bacteria don't like salt at all. There. You're gonna wanna do this if you can on a rack so that room temperature air can move all around. That's it. Thank you, Thing. You can see why this might be one of my favorite recipes of all time. There is no recipe. This is my grill. There are many like it, but this one is mine. My grill is my best friend, and I must master it as I master my life. First things first, get rid of this lid and this cooking grate, and add just enough charcoal to cover the bottom in a heavy layer. I'd say I've got probably 1.5 to 2 quarts of natural chunk charcoal. That's what you want to use. Light it however you want. Me, I'm using this fancy Swedish heat gun called a Luftleiter, and no, they don't pay me to say that. But hey, it gets this whole stack lit in about 3 minutes. Then just evenly distribute across the grate and then lay the meat directly on the coals. That's right, directly on the coals for 35 to 45 seconds, depending on the thickness of the meat, and then flip and repeat. Yes, some of the charcoal's probably gonna stick. No, that's not a problem. Little ash never hurt anybody. It'll turn into a delicious sauce. Yeah, I mean it. Remove the hot meat directly to a large piece of heavy-duty aluminum foil. You're gonna wrap this up into a tight pouch, as airtight as possible, because we wanna reserve as much heat as we can. We're gonna let this sit just off in a corner someplace quiet for 15 minutes. And what's gonna happen during that time is the residual heat inside is going to just continue to cook those steaks until they are perfectly done. But you gotta have patience. Oh, meanwhile, you could grill some veggies or something. Oh my, just smell that aroma, will ya? Oh, I'm sorry, you can't smell that, can you? Well, believe me, it smells very, very good indeed. And look, see, most of those little pieces of ash that had been stuck on here just kind of dissolved into this beautiful little sauce that's gathering there. So let's cut. I'm just gonna move this off. And what I like to do is just stack the meat like this and kind of cut into sections. Go into 3 sections here. That'll make the pieces of reasonable length for consumption. But when you're ready to slice, you want to go against the grain so that it will be more tender to the tooth. And I like to go on a bias so that the pieces actually look bigger on the plate. Now, you could, if you felt like it, move all this to a platter and then pour the remaining juices over it and serve it alongside some nice grilled vegetables. Then again, we could just sit here and eat it, which is what I'm going to do. Hey, remember, America,